All right, all right. We are starting our session. Welcome to the live members training and Q&A session. As you are getting on, please understand that there is about a 20-second delay between the software program that I use and YouTube, and that's really for any software program. There's always going to be a slight delay. So let's start by going down and saying hello in the comments. I will be monitoring the comments over here on this screen, and then we're going to get into a little bit of training analysis. We'll look at where crude oil is now, and then I'll answer some Q&As for the last few minutes of today's session. So say hello, and I'm going to pop you up here on the screen. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Ivan, welcome as well. Thanks for being here. Hello, hello. Good to see all the members popping in. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone popping in. We are going to do a little bit of a free preview for folks for the first half of today's training session. So welcome. Again, welcome to all of you. We're going to wait probably about 2 more minutes to let some of those that are popping in now kind of get in. And then we are going to jump into the active chart that is currently going on. So again, if you're just joining us, say hello, pop on in, and we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. Hey, Omar, how you doing? Day trader. Hello. And we're going to be talking about some good stuff here on today's member session. Again, if you have questions, you would drop them in the comments. If you can, wait until kind of the end. If not, I'll kind of just leave them in the queue there so we can definitely get to it as well. Hey, Victor, hello. Good to see you. Okay. So again, if you're just popping in, say hello, and we are going to get started here in just a minute. Susanna, hello. Good to see you. Sabrina, what's up on the West Coast out there in California? Hello. Okay, so let me get rid of this banner for now. I'll pop that in. And so kind of the first thing I want to start with is this. I actually have a question for you, and I want you to go down through the comments because I'm going to keep this, and I'll reach out to some of you individually if I feel there's something that we can definitely do for you. But I want you to go down into the comment section and let me know, hey, what do you think your number one problem with trading is right now? Whatever that might be for you. Okay. And again, we're an open forum. It's good to share what's causing your issues if you're having issues, because I'm sure that other people are having the exact same type of issues, whether it's over trading, whether it's over leveraging, whether it's risk management, whether it's Telegram, whether it's just too many messages and too many trades and lack of discipline. So go into the comment section and drop them in there because I think, whether you want to drop them publicly or not, there's something about acknowledging, hey, listen, I'm struggling here, right? I struggled with risk management for a very long time, right? I struggled with trying to, turn accounts over quickly until you realize into your second and third account that wasn't going to happen unless you have a plan and unless you're disciplined. Again, hey, if you lost today, that's okay. I took a loss on gold. I'm okay. I'll admit that publicly, right? You're not going to win every trade, right? I thought gold, because of where we were sitting on, we still have a huge gap below, but obviously I didn't take account into some of the fundamentals that were happening. The technicals did not hold up. So I'd rather just close my trade. I'd rather take a couple of small losses than to just hope that maybe it'll come back next week. Is it going to come back to fill that gap eventually? Of course, it's going to. But guess what? Something can break out overseas over the weekend and cause gold to continue spiking up. So when it's that volatile, I'm just going to leave it alone. But you're not going to win every trade. You can be a 50% trader and still be successful in this market if you have a plan and you have good risk management. Okay. So that's okay. That's okay. We learn from it and then we reevaluate. The worst thing that you can do, in my opinion, is to revenge trade. You already know my rules, right? I don't trade on Friday, right? I close my trades that were open on gold, not getting in late. I see some of the chatter in Telegram. And guess what? Here's an easy solution. If the notification and the people on Telegram are driving you crazy, or it's enticing you, patience. That's it. You won't get them on your feed. You won't get them on your homepage of your phone. And that's it. That's the way you can cure that. Because I know that can get annoying sometimes and can entice you to get back in. And last thing I'll say about that is if you are not checking these trades before you enter, shame on you. Whether you get a chart from me or from anyone else, because I know how the game is. I know many of you are subscribed to 10,000 Telegram channels and 10,000 Discord channels. And so you're trying to get signals from everywhere. Hey, when you lose, not the person who put the chart. So we're going to take losses. But if you just blindly go into trades, you're not going to be successful for a very long time. You're going to win some, but understand why you got into the trade. You need to know that, because when those signals are gone, then what do you have left? So make sure that you are absolutely always telling yourself, okay, I see the chart. Let me try to figure out why that's a good entry for that person. And if it doesn't meet your standards, do not get into that trade. Okay. Struggling with confidence, right? Struggling with confidence happens. Okay. Struggling with happens. Only focusing on trading what I see. Sometimes I hold a personal bias. Yeah. Listen, I'm the first one to admit today, I had a personal bias over the last few days that we were going to see a drop in gold because of that huge gap. They proved me wrong. I learned my lesson. I even hear myself saying in the videos, understand that gaps could take hours, days, and in a very small fraction, weeks to close. You've heard me say that. I've gone back and I've heard myself say that. Oil closed much faster than maybe I thought. I thought oil would have been probably left open a little bit longer, but we got the close on oil much faster. Gold did not play out that way. So what did we learn from this process moving forward? That if you're going to enter a gap trade, and even though I entered with smaller lots than usual, now we know that during volatile times, there might be a circumstance where a trade stays open for a gap longer than a few hours or a few days, and you have to be prepared mentally and account-wise, financially, risk management-wise, to hold that account, or to say, I'm just going to take a close here, I'm going to take a loss here, because I know that starting next week, I'm going to be selling a lot of gold, right? Hopefully it continues to go up now, and if it goes up, great. Gold will have to come back down, right? So what goes up has to come back down. It didn't fit my timing this week, but we will definitely catch it next week together as a group. Okay, awesome. And then the last thing I want to show and comment before we get into the charts with you is, do you have a trading plan, right? Do you have a trading plan? And we're going to be working on this together coming up. Again, we keep talking about, if you're a member, we are going to be switching platforms here. Pretty soon, we're going to be going away from Telegram into a private server that's going to be an app for you to get notifications, to have your own private chats. You can actually have the app or the website, however you want to access it, in your own language. So that's going to help a lot of the issues with language. So if you rather see the information in Portuguese, or you rather see it in Arabic, you'll be able to change the language on that. So it's a little bit more sophisticated. It's taking me a little bit longer than I expected. But again, I want to make sure that when we get it out, that at least it's functioning properly. And then we're going to be adding a lot of stuff into it. Those of you that decide to move on to that platform, there'll be some courses built in that I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to have at no extra cost in that platform. So again, we'll be moving to that in just a little bit as we move forward. So I'm hoping to have that done over the next few days. And so here's the last thing. When you ask in the Telegram, is this going to go up or going to go down? Moving forward, I'm probably just going to ignore you. Okay, and I'm going to do that for your sake. I'm going to kind of be a parent here, right? When you ask, is this going to go up or down? Who knows, right? The price action will tell us that. And sometimes we're wrong on the price action. So I will not be enticed to go into our channel or any channel and say, oh, do I think it's going to go up or down, right? Look for levels of support and resistance. Let me be honest with you. I haven't called out people in the Telegram, but let me say it here. Some of you are very lazy. You ask questions that you should be able to find on your own. You're not doing your own homework. You're not doing your own charting. You want to be spoon-fed, okay? Forget the cost of the Telegram. Even if the Telegram was at $10,000, you are trying to be spoon-fed, right? So you need to sometimes find that information yourself, and nobody really knows if it's going to go up or down. We can give you a probability based on what we see on the chart. Do we think it's going to go up or down? But you should never enter a trade because someone says, oh yeah, I think it's going up. It's your account. It's your money. It's your loss. It's your win. Take ownership for it. Until you don't start treating trading like a business instead of a hobby, you're never going to be successful. You're going to win some trades, sure. You'll make a little bit of money, sure. But it's not going to be long-term success. It's a business. No business starts a business without having a plan, without having a mission statement, a vision statement, understanding why they're even trading in the first place. Do they set goals for themselves? If you don't have any of that, then you're just passing by. You're going to be here and you'll be gone in a few months. You won't have an account and you'll be starting all over again. So trading like a business. What are you doing on the weekends when the markets are closed? Are you marking up charts? Are you going back and hitting the review function in TradingView, if you use TradingView, and see how the candles moved? Are you focusing in on 3 to 5 pairs? Or are you just waiting for the next signal for the next Telegram or Discord to give you some information? You've got to be successful if you are going to treat this like a business. If you're not going to treat this like a business, if you're going to treat it like a hobby, if you're trying to put food on your plate and you're desperate people do desperate things. I get it. But that desperation should drive you even more, right? Should drive you even more to say, I'm going to be locked in. I'm going to be studying, just like if my life depended on it, right? If you had one trade to make, and I'm going to leave you with this before we move into the chart, okay? Every time you enter a trade, ask yourself this. If this was the last trade that you can take, and this was the last $1 in your account, would I hit buy or would I hit sell? If you had one trade to make it and to put food on the table for your family, and they were all counting on you, would you hit buy or sell? Or do you just hit buy or sell now because, you have no idea and you hope it goes up, you hope it goes down, but sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. So you make $20, you lose $40. You make $30, you lose $15. At the end of the month, you look, you made nothing because you're just hoping. So stop hoping. Treat it like a business. Get more serious. Do your homework. Find the research. There's plenty of websites and other people and things that. But at the end of the day, you have to take ownership and accountability for your trading account. Not me, not anyone else in this group or any other group that you belong to. I sleep well at night because I know that even today, for example, a lot of people might be depressed today because they took some losses. Guess what? To me, it's like any other day. I took a loss because I had good risk management. Totally good with it. My headspace, I'm set. I'm good to go. I'm excited for the markets to reopen again, right? I'm excited for this weekend to do my homework and look at my charts and look for the next high probability area. Not hoping it goes up, but having a plan that if it goes against me, where I need to close to keep me and my account safe, because it's a business, right? It's a business. I'm not just going to hope my company makes money. I'm going to put my company in the best position possible to make money. And so again, mindset is just as important. Forget your bank account. Work on this. Are you meditating? Are you spending some time in whatever your faith is? Are you spending some time there? Are you getting your head straight? Because if you're just coming here hoping for the next miracle Telegram signal, you're not going to make it. You might as well just go do something else if you want me to be completely honest with you. Okay, so thank you for your comments. I didn't post them up here publicly, but I am reading your comments, and I just kind of wanted to kind of start with that. So let's go ahead and get into crude oil here. I'm going to go over here to the chart and kind of see where we are at right now. So by looking at this chart, okay, and I've got somebody calling me here. Let me decline that. By looking at this chart, okay, what do we see right here? And I want you to put this down in the comments. What does this look to you? When you look at this right here, what does this appear to be to you? And I want you to put it down in the comment section. What does this appear to be to you? And I'm going to go back to my studio here. I'm going to look at the comments. What is that kind of telling you there? Okay, what is that kind of telling you there? When you look at this chart in that area I have marked up from where price is currently at, what does that look to you like? What does that look to you like? And I want to see who's going to get it first in the comments. What does this look like to you? When you see this section all here, right? You see these wicks. What is this an example of to you? And I want you to put it down in the comment section. Okay. Yes, we are getting some good answers. Bruno, my good friend from I can't remember now exactly where you are from, Bruno. Yes, in Spanish, resistencia, which also means resistance. Alex, Sabrina, good. Yeah, a whole bunch of double tops. Most important thing there is not really so much consolidation, just rejection of price. Yeah, we've got that. We definitely have that area right in here that talks about resistance. So somebody asked the earlier question, do I think it's going to go up or down? Well, when you take this across, we can now validate that this resistance was a previous level of support, right? Came down, whoop, came down twice in this area and went up on both occasions. This one a lot more. So now we have support turned into resistance, right? So I'm going to kind of walk you through this as we kind of look at this training session now. Okay, so we are currently here. This is a live chart. And again, I would highly encourage all of you not to trade anymore today. It is 12:15 or so Eastern Standard Time. Even if oil goes up 10,000 points and you missed it, again, you're putting yourself, I think, at risk by trying to get into a position. I did see a recommendation in the channel earlier to maybe leave a small buy position in case something does break out versus going up. That's completely up to you. I think that's it's not a bad suggestion. I've heard that from good traders before. I've actually been in that position before accidentally, and it worked out. But to me, that's more like a little bit like gambling, because guess what? If there's a huge gap, right, then we have the gap opportunity on Sunday, right? But whether you want to do that or not, that's completely up to you. But again, use caution. So yeah, Bruno, Portugal, thank you. I couldn't remember if it was Spain or Portugal, but yeah. Okay, so here's the question. Based on what you see right now on the chart, are you more likely to take a buying position from right here, or are you more likely to take a sell position? If this was under normal, regular market conditions, and we are on the 4-hour chart, right? What are you more than likely to do based on the current green candle right here and what you see over here on the left? Let me know in the comments, what are you more likely to do in that scenario right there? Okay, so we have one person to say sell. We have another person to say sell. Okay, I'm not going to tell you yet whether that's right or wrong. I'm going to wait to get a couple more answers. And then I'm going to share what I would do based on the fact that we are sitting on a active 4-hour candle. We have somebody that says short. Okay. We have somebody to sell if it's a clear rejection. Okay. Okay. So we've got some answers. Let's go back into the full chart here. Now, we are in an active 4-hour chart. If this candle that can continue, because we're not yet on we haven't closed that candle. What happens if that candle closes up here? In the next 20, 30 minutes, there's a huge bump in price and that candle closes up here. Are you still going to sell? So let me go to the comments. If that scenario happens, are you still going to sell in that scenario? Are you still going to sell in that scenario? Are you still going to close? If that candle closes where I have it pointed in the next 30 minutes, because that's an active 4-hour candle, are you still going to sell in that position? So now we went from a lot of people saying sell to some people saying no, we're not going to sell because that is an active candle. That is correct. Now, if we went down to the 1 hour candle, okay, that 1 hour candle, what time is it? It's 12:21 Eastern Standard Time. This could be the exact same scenario. It may not have the opportunity because if that candle, I'm going to move it over here now, closes above this 87 mark, let's just say it shoots up there, then we would not be selling because you would be in some drawdown if that was the case, right? Based on the technicals. So if the candle was to close here in this hour candle, which right now it doesn't look like it's going to, but we know that oil can pump at any point, right? Then we would not be selling. We would be looking to look at price to come back down and then taking the retest back up to this high right over here if that was the case. Okay? If that was the case right over here. Okay? So that's one scenario. Now, sometimes we're just so eager to hit buy or sell, we don't wait to allow things to happen. Okay? Now, based on what we're seeing here, let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay? We already had price come here on a temporary area of support, right? On a temporary area of support. Can everyone see that? We had the wick here. We had some wicks here, wicks here, wicks here. So, and then this area became a level of resistance and then dropped down, right? This came pretty close to it. So we have to now, in a smaller time frame, in a kind of zone within a zone, we have to respect 85.50 area. Okay, and again, we talk about those zeros at the end, how well they work with crude oil. So we have to respect this area, right? So we don't know right now what's going to happen, but we have to assume that if price stays here, you got to make a decision. If we were trading on a regular session, regular day, not a Friday afternoon, right? What would give you the highest probability, right? You would either have to choose to see if price comes back down here to take a short buy back up to this area, or in this case, you wait for this scenario. This would be the safest scenario, that price closes down in this point. If price closes here, okay, then you work out this scenario. Price closes, came back to retest, and then we drop to this lower level. So if price closes here, then you would take this scenario, kind of back up and then back down to these lows that were created right over here. Okay? That would be the scenario if it closes down here. This here in this little area, okay, would be very risky to look at a possible trade, especially obviously given the time of day, right? Because yeah, you might get lucky and grab some points, but this is a very small window of maybe 5, 6, 7 points. So we're in that same area right in here. Why don't you just let price go one way or another? Set an alert up here for this scenario, or set an alert at this line and see if it gives you the closure back up and then back down. That's really what you should be looking at in order to look at whether you wanted to take this trade, given this was not a Friday afternoon, right, at 12:30 in the afternoon. This shows you and talks a little bit about your patience, right? We don't know what's going to happen. None of us know what's going to happen. And anyone that claims they do, they don't know, right? Only the market makers know where they want to take price by the end of the day. So give yourself the best opportunity. Instead of asking, is it going to be a buy or a sell? Give yourself the best opportunity to be patient and to wait to let the candles tell you the story, because markets repeat behaviors. So we have to be able to wait to see if we're going to get this scenario happening again here, back down to these lows, right? Or we're just going to maybe just do it here for the rest of the day, okay? And then wait until the market opens on Sunday to see what price decides to open up, okay? Because as we scroll down, right, we can definitely see that we've been higher, Okay, right here. Okay, this was Thursday, September 28th. So not even a month ago, we did hit that 94, 95 area, right? Who is it to say that we're not going to go back to retest this area? We don't know, right? We don't know. So as intraday scalpers, we have to give ourselves the best opportunity. Trust me, price comes back up here, we're going to be selling somewhere up in this area. So that is the best scenario, meaning if you're patient enough and you say, I'm going to go trade something else and see if I can get this, then you know we've got some good stuff coming down at some point, right? But for right now, we're not there. We have to intraday trade this. We have to give ourselves the best opportunity to grab those 20 points in a volatile market right now with what's happening overseas in a very unstable market right now. I consider this to be a very unstable market. So when you're in an unstable market, you've got to make a decision. Do you even trade or go to something else, a regular Forex pair that's much easier? I just had a couple of coaching sessions this week. And again, if you're brand new, I definitely recommend that you reach out to me. If you want to do some one-on-one stuff, I can get you to your finish line much faster. But, going to a regular Forex pair, like an Aussie pair with a dollar pair or a Euro pair with a USD pair, will be a much smoother flow than oil or S&P or the NASDAQ. Those are very volatile. Gold right now, very, very volatile. That's why I love the Forex market. I have those other pairs that I can go to and I can grab points because they don't move as much. They have tighter ranges. They move 80 pips for the day. They have moved 100 pips for the day. So you can wait for one movement and catch the reversal, things like that. So that's the important thing of having, other pairs there. So if you feel you want to take your trading game to the next level, just reach out to me, send me a message. I've got, more time that I can definitely allot to you. 30-minute coaching sessions will make a huge difference in your trading because we'll be able to mark up the charts together, give you trade ideas on any Forex pair that you want. So again, you can always reach out to me as well. So, this is kind of where we're at. This is kind of the state of oil right now. So if I'm you, because it's Friday afternoon, right? Look to see what happens the rest of the day. Don't trade it. Just see what happens. Because if you get this scenario here, then you can expect that we are going to go longer at the beginning of next week, right? Or maybe even go up here today. I don't know. Who knows, right? Because when we look over here to the left, we see all this traffic here. We know we have another traffic area right in here, right? We can just see it just with the naked eye. We can see all the touches in this area right in here. So, 89, 50, 89, 90 is absolutely a great possibility, right? And as someone mentioned, maybe we just gap up high on Sunday. So, in my opinion, we wait until Sunday and then we approach the gap with a very safe opportunity. And again, now knowing what happened with with gold, we take it very cautiously. If you are going to trade the gap or don't trade the gap, right? We happen to have this gap right here close on Sunday much faster than was anticipated, right? It gave us a great opportunity. We caught a lot of points coming down, but this could have gone up here. And then we'd have the huge gap just like gold, right? So I think here right now, the key is to be patient because we are in a very volatile market. I'd rather you just be patient than to try to guess, to try to make an extra $5 or $500 or $5,000 and put yourself in a situation where now you're just trying to force a trade versus letting the trade come to you, right? Let the trade come to you. For me, for example, what I learned from gold today, putting into it yesterday and overnight, having a position pending, was I didn't play the trade right. I forced a trade. I didn't wait to see. I had a pending order thinking, okay, we're going to hopefully bounce off this area of resistance and give me at least the points I was looking to down on that one position to offset the lower one. And it didn't happen, right? The morning just took off like crazy, right? It didn't happen. So I forced that position. That wasn't smart on my move, right? So I take full responsibility for my account and for me not being smarter in that move, right? Trying to force that gold trade, even though I had already told myself I even fell for that. I wasn't trading the rest of the week. I had great profits. I gave up a little bit of that profit because I was trying to force a trade, and I wasn't thinking of the fundamentals. I wasn't thinking of the Middle East as much. I was thinking of the gap. And so when you mention the bias, it's absolutely real. We still have that. We're human, right? That's going to always play a part in part of our trading. We do our best for us not to be there, but that human bias impacts us all. And as much as you can think about and remember that you're not going to win every trade, and you have to know when to close a trade, you have to cost average a trade. That's going to matter in the long term of this business, right? You can come in here for a hobby, get lucky for a month, and then say, okay, I got lucky for a month. Or maybe you trade a demo account and you turned $500 into $6,000. And now you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready. And your first trade off the gate, you go all in. You risk 50% of your account because you never lost in demo, and you lose that one trade. And now psychology wise, you're defeated. You're hating life. Now you're mad at your family. You're taking it on your kids. You're grumpy at work. You can't sleep at night. You're checking your phone every 30 seconds in the middle of the night, praying that it goes down or praying that it goes up, and the market makers don't care about you. So the market is not an ATM. It's not an automated teller machine. Respect it. Okay, respect it. Why do you see the Google quotes that 90% of traders fail? And why do those that go on and do a YouTube video about why trading fails? Is because they never went in with a discipline. They never had good mentorship, and they were just all over the place and never treated it like a business. So when you fail, it's just easy to come on and do a YouTube video and say, oh, this stinks, right? This stinks. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work because you didn't make it work, right? That's why it didn't work. So that's kind of where we are at now. So I want to leave the last 10 minutes for any questions, last 5 or 10 minutes. So if you have a specific question, you can definitely drop it down below into the comments area, and I will answer any questions as we kind of look at this chart right here. Again, not much happening in the market right now, just kind of moving. Again, there'll probably be one big move. Again, not a big move, but a substantial move, maybe around that 2:30, 3 o'clock, but definitely off limits. My account is closed for the day, and I will relook at this on Sunday when the market opens, and I will do the Sunday analysis video when I see where price closes today. Because if we look at the day chart, the day chart is going to tell us a lot on the day chart, which right now, again, we are still here in this area here. And on the day chart, we'll look at fib levels on the video. We're not even close to that 61.8, which ironically enough, look at that, aligns perfectly with that next zone and liquidity in this candle right over here. So we'll be looking at that. And then we'll also be looking at the weekly as well to see where that candle closes and where this liquidity was taken here. So if you've got any questions, you can definitely drop them below in the comments. I'll wait a few seconds. I hope you got some value from today. For those of you that are, in the group chat, let's really think about what we post in there. Again, me personally, I won't be responding to silly questions because silly questions deserve silly responses, but I try not to call you out. Some people have had to message privately and say, think about what you posted. Like, who really knows that? And you really should not be asking anyone to put themselves in that position to give you an answer on that. It doesn't make any sense. And again, if we see some issues with folks I've already had to remove too, we'll just remove you, not a big deal. And when we go to that new thing as well, we'll talk about that coming up. So the question was, the gap was totally closed because I had 20 points missing. Yeah, you have to look at your broker. Now, that doesn't mean that a gap won't stay open. Okay, gaps will remain open sometimes in very few cases. But again, you have that very small percentage that gaps remain open. They maybe eventually close. What happens though with, for example, crude oil, especially if you're trading it in a futures account, when you get a new contract, there is no requirement to close any gaps in futures. So that can trickle down into your crude oil account. So, if there's like 15, 20 points, I would just pretend it's not there and trade what you see and don't worry about that gap. Okay, the gold gap, that won't stay that wide open. That will close. That could be weeks. I'm not going to tell you when I think it's going to close, but you can rest assured that 90% of that gold gap is going to close. There was huge money to move price up and leave that gap for brokers, so that they're going to come back to get that money. Trust me, they're greedy. They're going to come back to get that money. All right. Any other questions real quick on the chat? I'm going to wait another 30 seconds. If not, thank you for being here. If you missed this, again, if you want to go back and take a look at it, this will be obviously posted inside of our private group, and it will be locked into the members area only once this video kind of does its thing on the back end with YouTube, and then it'll be in there for you to view along with the other ones as well. Got a question or something coming up here. Brent seems to have broken already. Al, can you look at it? Let's get a moment and give you advice on how you usually deal with. So I really don't trade Brent. Brent is one, and WTI is another one. So you don't want to compare. There's always been at times if you were trading back 2 years ago, even a year and a half ago, you saw that for the most part. And here's a good example: the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the US 30, they moved together. They would move. So if you were trading one, you might as well trade all three of them because they always moved pretty much together. Now I think they finally got smart to throw people off. You can have a $300 drop on the Nasdaq and be positive on the Dow. So I think they've started realizing that everybody was moving in the same direction. And so I think Brent and WTI, crude, depending on where you trade it, you're going to see disparities, obviously in price, and you're going to see disparities on the actual price action. And again, I think what's happening right now just has to do with hold on, let me put this back on here. Has to do with what is going on. I'll bring up Brent crude oil here. I'll just use I'll use this one right here. Okay, so again, you're going to see disparities in the charts from what you see there. So again, here obviously, on this 4 hour, right, we've already broken that, and you can see right here, right. I'm actually glad that you brought this up, because this would be the kind of scenario that we were talking about on crude oil, right? There was the retest, right? That wick coming down was the retest of that zone. So great example. Where did you see that? We saw that on the 15-minute chart, right? I mean, you can see it on any chart, but there it is a little bit clearer on the 15-minute chart. It came back to retest this area and then took off. So boom, 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 back down, and then back up here for the retest. So again, this is obviously looks like it's going to continue going higher, but I don't want to compare it to the regular crude oil, because again, it can have its own price action and it can have its own movement. Last question. I got a question. What do you mean when you candle leaves liquidity and another candle is going to take that liquidity back? So liquidity basically means if you've traded kind of smart money concepts, if you understand a little bit, when you get like kind of like that big, let's go to a 1 hour chart. When you kind of get like a big candle, right? So when you look at this candle right here, let me grab this here, make it a little bit smaller. You look at this candle right here. When this candle opened, there's no like wick to the bottom. It just boom. It just shot straight up. So a lot of money was introduced here in this candle right here. So in this wick, they take about 20%. Price coming back down to this area, right? They remember, banks, institutions are trading on both sides. They're trading the buys and the sells, right? So they generate their buy to make their money. Meanwhile, they're down on their sells. They come back in here, right? They cash out, they drop a sell in here to grab liquidity, and then they go ahead and move the market back up. So when you look at liquidity, just look for big candles. Here's another good example, right? No wick. Price took off to the bottom side. This wick came up 50% of that candle. So they took 50% of their two positions and they liquidated 50% of it. They still made money because they entered more sells, and then they dropped the price down. So they're going to take losses, but they're going to come back up in these big pushes to grab some of that money as well. And I'll give you one more example. This one right here, right? Like, hello, this is a huge liquidity candle, right? They came back initially to grab about 50%, and then they came back down to grab even more of that money. So when you see these big pushes, price will eventually come back to at least 50%, in my opinion, to grab some of that liquidity. And when they're really greedy, right, they do this, they come back to grab almost 80% of that candle. Let me do a, where is, no, I don't want a pattern. Okay, let's do a fib just from here to here, just to kind of get an idea. Put it here. So yeah, look at that. They grabbed 80% of that position they entered, and then they went back up. So they took money out, they put money in, and then they put money in again, and they moved the market up. So those are like big liquidity candles. Those are called bankers candles that obviously knocked out a lot of people's stop losses. Then they brought price back down to grab 80% of that liquidity, and then they took price back up. Okay, that's it for me. Oh, I'm sorry. You couldn't see the chart. Oh, God, my bad. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me go full chart. My bad. I'm sorry. I just saw the comments. So this is what I was talking about. And let me just double check here that we are on the chart. Yep. Okay, so here was the last example I talked about. This huge push up. Okay, that's a huge banker's candle. What they eventually do is they come down. They took almost 50% of their liquidity. Right. This is big institutional money being pumped in. So they enter huge, they take 50, they move the market, then they eventually come back down to grab 80% of that. They enter a sell here, they come back down and grab 80% of that sell. They don't care about that 20% loss because they just made this up, they made this down. They take the loss, the small loss here, because they've already made a whole bunch of money up and down, and then they move the market back up once again. So here was the 50, here was the 80%. And so you'll see this on the candles. And then the first scenario that I showed you was kind of here as well. Again, you don't see that wick here. So when you see a big impulse coming back down, kind of as you saw right here, no wick, big impulse down, right? They grabbed about 20%. They came down, these greedy folks, and they grabbed all their money back, and then they moved the market up. They moved all the market up. Same thing here. You saw very little bit of a wick. They came back here to about the 80%. They grabbed that smart money. They moved the market back up. So they entered a position, they closed the position, they re-entered a position, and so they're making money on both sides, right? They're making money on both sides. So again, that takes a lot of looking at. It's not 100% like anything else, but when you see those huge candles, especially like this, like they're coming back for their money, right? They're coming back. So you work it off support and resistance, and just like anything else, but they're going to come back to grab that institutional money within their charts as well. Okay, so that's it for today's session. Have a good weekend. I'll definitely drop that crude oil analysis on Sunday based on what we see. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the monthly and the weekly because I think it might reveal some stuff once price closes today. But again, I'll share that information in the video again. Thank you again. Have a great weekend. Treat yourself. Don't forget, if you are in a position to withdraw some money on Fridays, even if it's $1, withdraw it. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. Hey, I was able to take something out that I made in this market, right? The ability to trade from a phone, from a laptop, a desktop, even if you take $1, get that withdrawal activated in your broker, get that dollar back into you. At least it's a sense of accomplishment. It's a small win. We have to celebrate small wins, okay? So whether it's $1 or more, always take something out. If you're not in a position this week to take out some money, don't, right? But when you are in a position, take money out. You'll see what it does for your psyche. It'll motivate you to be more focused in each week to expect that withdrawal at the end of Friday. When I finish here, I will initiate my Friday withdrawal. Again, it's a nice way of telling yourself, hey, this is how you rewarded yourself for your hard work this week. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a happy Friday. Be safe. And I'll see you on Sunday. Yeah, great point. Exactly right. Exactly right.